Mr. Emmanuel Ugboaja joins us. He's the head of industrial relations for Nigeria Labour Congress. Morning. Thank you for joining us today. Well, we see labour groups in that report involved in that matter. Could you tell us what is going on with that?
Well, clearly, what is playing out is an issue of industrial relations problem. We have a situation where the government of Imo State has not been in good terms with the workers of the state, from medical health workers to the judiciary to workers in almost all the parastatals in Imo State. There is the challenge of payment of salaries. There is the challenge of mode of work, whether there is work or work has ended. There is the challenge of what the appropriate retirement age is. That's just the challenge of a bad communication relationship between the workers and the government. And that has clearly impeded decent work ethics in the place.
What did the labor union find out when they went visiting?
We found out clearly that the governor is having some challenges in running the state. Just like every other state, there is a dwindling issue of resources coming in from the federal government or from the center. And the challenge of how to balance the act of the contending needs of state is leading to so many diverse responses. But ironically, for us, the workers have been at the worst end of the stick with regards to finding out how the challenge of dwindling revenue is to be handled.
Because it's amazing you're saying this, that the workers at the receiving end, because sitting there with the governor of Imo State, it would mean as if the workers in Imo State were not being truthful when he said to the leadership of the NLC that it is only workers who work with imo-ada-palm that were being owed salaries, as he has paid everything. We didn't get to see any kind of rebuttal or contrary view or comment from the NLC leadership. That's why we're asking if what you found out was anything.
No, that's not correct. If you have played the full tape
what's not
meeting,
correct?
You will realize to say that all the workers have been paid. That is absolutely not correct. Workers are being owed. Workers in the judicial workers, even by the governor himself, on the floor of that meeting, said clearly he has not paid the judicial workers. He has not paid the lawyers in the state. The imo-ada-palm issue, like you rightly pointed out, they are workers. They've not been paid. Those in the Imo Transport Corporation, they've not been paid. People in what they call Imo-SACA, the agency that responds to HIV/AIDS issues in the health sector, they've not been paid.
If that's the case, why did the leadership, why didn't the leadership put that before him when he went on to say the only people or the only group he was owing were workers of imo-ada-palm, and he went on to say, warn the workers before you leave, because he's paid them and he doesn't want to see anyone who would sit at home not come to work?
No, Suleiman, that's why I'm telling you that I was in the meeting. That's why I said, can you play the full tape of the meeting? I don't want us to pick and choose. You don't expect us to jump into the governor's mouth when he's talking. When he talked, we responded. If you play the complete tape, I was at the meeting. So I'm telling you clearly that it is not correct, that every worker has been paid except imo-ada-palm workers. That's not correct. The governor by himself, if you play the full tape of the meeting, you will hear him say why he has not paid lawyers in the state. You will hear him say why he has not paid workers in the water corporation. You will hear him say why he has not paid workers in the medical sector. You will hear him say the challenge he's having with regards to payment. You will hear him say that part of the arrears of salary was inherited from previous governments. You will hear all that. So it's not correct to say that he said there is only imo-ada-palm workers that is owing. That's not correct.
In that case then, since you said you were there, who were those who have been paid?
Like I told you, he even called I guess that must have been the Accountant General of the state to try to bring the list of those that have been paid. And we couldn't get a certainty. So clearly, the issues are even pensioners. There were issues of bounce checks, even for pensioners. So clearly, there is a challenge. We did agree with him to set up a committee that the Federal Ministry of Labor will be involved, the NLC headquarters will be involved, the state chapter of NLC will be involved, with a select team from the government to address all the issues. That is the point at which we are now. It's not about trading who is being owed and who is not. The committee will then get to the root of it. If you have paid people, there will be evidence. Their paychecks will show that. It's not you have paid me, I haven't paid you. The evidence will be put.
In other words,
clearly, what we went was for a courtesy call. It was the governor who said, hey, you guys come in, can we then turn this to a meeting? And there was no way a courtesy call to explain to him what the challenges were could have turned to a meeting that will have all the issues resolved. And that was why we said, let's set up a committee that can take up all the positions, the government position, the workers' position, with an independent arbiter observing, like the Federal Ministry of Labor, so that the issues can all be addressed and we can have a decent conclusion to what is going on.
Was Labour expecting this challenges from the Imo State?
Not exactly, because if you take the position of the governor, one, he's in quotes a progressive governor. He rode into office on the back of workers' popularity and advocacy. And you say his track record as a progressive governor, that if there is anybody that will give workers the wrong end of the stick, it won't be Imo State. And that is why we are trying to nip this in the bud. Imo State is not the only state that is having challenges from dwindling revenue. So clearly, there must be more creative ways to have this thing sorted out.